All right, let's jump right in. We're going to be talking about an ancient philosophy that is, believe it or not, making a massive comeback. It's basically a toolkit for not just surviving, but thriving in a world that feels totally out of our control. It's called Stoicism.
But let me start with a question for you. What if all those obstacles you're facing, the things that drive you crazy and hold you back, what if they were actually the raw material for your greatest achievements? Sounds kind of wild, right? But that's the core idea we're going to unpack today.
So first things first, let's get a huge misconception out of the way. When you hear the word stoic, you probably picture someone totally emotionless, just gritting their teeth and suffering in silence. But that's not what ancient stoicism is about at all. The real deal isn't about not feeling emotions. It's about not being a slave to them. It's a practical playbook for turning every single obstacle completely on its head.
And look, this isn't some dusty old theory from a textbook. The best way to think about it is like a powerful operating system for your mind, one that's been stress-tested for over 2,000 years. I mean, it was used by people like the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius to rule a massive empire. And today, it's the secret weapon for everyone from Super Bowl-winning coaches to entrepreneurs and elite athletes, basically anyone who has to perform under incredible pressure.
So how does it actually work? What's the blueprint? Well, the Stoics broke it all down into 3 simple, connected disciplines that we're going to walk through. First, you master your perception. Second, you take the right action. And third, you strengthen your will. That's it. This is the framework for everything that follows.
So let's start at the beginning, perception. The Stoics had this huge insight that we don't actually react to events in the world. We react to our judgments about those events. And this, right here, is where our true power is. It's not about changing the world around us. It's about changing the way we see it.
Marcus Aurelius put it perfectly. He wrote, "The universe is change, life is opinion." What he's saying is, all the stuff happening out there, it's always changing, and it's totally outside our control. The only thing that's truly ours is our opinion of it all, our interpretation. That's where the magic is.
Think of it like this. The Stoics taught that we have 2 ways of seeing: the observing eye and the perceiving eye. The observing eye just sees the facts. It's raining outside. Simple. But the perceiving eye, that's the one that adds a story. It's raining, my whole day is ruined, this is just awful. Stoicism is all about training ourselves to stick with that first one, just the facts.
And here's a really cool practical tool you can use anytime. It's called the view from above. Just close your eyes for a second and imagine you're floating way up high, looking down on the earth from the stars. You can see all of human history. Wars, first kisses, discoveries, traffic jams. From that huge perspective, how big is that frustrating email you just got? It puts things in perspective and helps wash away what Marcus Aurelius called the mud of life below. Okay, so once our perception is in check, we move on to the second discipline, which is action. But we're not talking about just any action. We're talking about the right action, focused like a laser only on the things that are actually within our control.
Now, this might be the single most important practice in all of Stoicism. It's this idea that life is split into 2 big buckets. In one bucket are the things we can control, our choices, our actions, our character. And the other bucket is, well, everything else. The weather, the economy, what other people think or do. And the Stoic rule is simple. Pour all of your energy into that first bucket and learn to accept the second.
I mean, check out this story. Demosthenes, one of the greatest speakers in ancient history, was actually born with a really bad speech impediment. Now, he couldn't control that, but he could control his response. So you know what he did? He'd go down to the ocean, fill his mouth with pebbles, and practice shouting his speeches over the roar of the waves. He turned his biggest weakness into his absolute greatest strength. That right there is Stoic action.
And if you want to try this yourself, 2 simple habits. First, an early morning reflection. When you wake up, don't just plan your to-do list, plan your character. Think about the challenges you might face and how you'll respond with patience or courage. Second, try keeping a philosophical journal. At the end of the day, just review your actions, not what went right or wrong outside of you, but where your response could have been better.
Which brings us to the third and final discipline, the will. This is your inner fortress. It's what you fall back on when things go sideways, when your plans get derailed, and when the only thing you have left is your power to endure and accept what is.
A huge concept here is something called amor fati, which is Latin for a love of fate. Now, this isn't just about putting up with whatever happens to you. It's about actively embracing it. It's the mindset that says, okay, this thing I can't change, it's not just okay, it's necessary, it's fuel. I'm going to love it because it's part of my story.
The philosopher Seneca gives us the key to building this kind of will. He points out that what turns a problem into a complete disaster is usually the element of surprise. So the Stoic prepares their mind. They don't just hope for the best, they mentally prepare for everything, so that when challenges do come up, and they always do, they can stay calm and collected.
So here's a powerful, though kind of counterintuitive exercise for this. It's called negative visualization. Take a few minutes and just imagine that you've lost the things you value the most. Maybe your job, your health, or someone you love. Now the point isn't to be depressing, it's actually the opposite. It flips the script on our tendency to take things for granted, and instead, it floods you with a deep sense of gratitude for everything you have right now.
Okay, so we've got perception, action, and will. How do they all come together? Well, they unite under one of the most famous and powerful sayings in all of philosophy. The obstacle is the way.
This is the line from Marcus Aurelius that just perfectly sums up the entire philosophy. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. That problem right in front of you, that tough project, that difficult person, that setback, it isn't blocking your path. It is the path. The challenge itself is giving you the exact raw material you need to practice courage, creativity, and resilience.
And that's really the ultimate payoff of this whole mental operating system. You finally accept that you can't control the world. You just let that go. And in return, you get something so much more valuable. Total control over your inner world, your own mind, and how you experience your life. And you know, if all of this is starting to sound surprisingly modern, well, you're absolutely right. There is a direct, unbroken line from ancient Stoicism to modern science. The core idea that our thoughts, not outside events, create our feelings is the absolute foundation of what we now call cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. You know, one of the most effective, evidence-based forms of psychotherapy we have today. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Using this timeless framework, think about an obstacle in your life right now. It could be big or small. What is it? And now, how can you make the choice to turn it into your way forward?